feel bad for Candace Owens that she lost her job.
Jeremy, what did Candace do that she deserved to be fired?
Well, I'm not going to have a conversation about Candace. When you run a business, you're not at liberty to have discussions about people that you fire. I know that everybody would like for me to be able to do that. I'm not able to do that.
I'd like to ask a little bit more about Candace Owens being fired by the Daily Wire. I just want to preface this to say, I was an organizational psychologist for a while. I worked with a lot of organizations that were quite frankly larger than the Daily Wire in terms of, helping them with staffing issues, working through the employees to fire, things like that. Jeremy, I'm just wondering, and I guess I'm asking this as a yes or no question, did Candace Owens violate any specific policies at the Daily Wire? And I'm not asking you to tell us which policies. I'm just asking, was she fired because she violated a company policy?
I'm not going to make any comment about the Daily Wire separation from Candace Owens in this forum.
So that's no then. Just to be clear with everyone, that's no. She did not violate any company policies.
Well, I don't. We're not.
Very sneaky way of ascribing to me an answer that I did not give.
If she violated a company policy, you would have been able to say yes to the question, Jeremy. I know that much.
Christ is the king, and one day every knee will bow and recognize it because he's not just my king, he's king of the universe. But when you use that phrase to mean that God has abandoned his chosen people, the Jews, through whom he came into this world incarnate, and that he's broken his promises, his covenant with the Jews, you are quoting scripture like Satan does in the Bible. And I know that such things are being said under the aegis of the Daily Wire. It has to end. It has to stop. If Candace wants to say those things about the Jews, about Hitler, no matter how she dodges and weaves, she has to leave the Daily Wire.
What did you say?
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
All right, so Candace Owens, political commentator, was either fired, quit, left, mutually agreed with the Daily Wire to end their relationship and part ways. As many of you know, we've already covered it on this channel. So there's two things I want to cover in this video. One, it appears to me that Daily Wire has released some sort of communication to the public, message to the public about why it is that Candace Owens, quote unquote, had to go. This is what they said, that she had to go. It's this guy by the name of Andrew Clavin. And this is probably one of the most confusing and most ridiculous videos I've ever seen in my life. I'm not even exaggerating. You would think that these are some of the smartest people, some of the most, these are CEOs and COOs. And for you to come out with a message like, I don't know what Andrew Clavin's official title is over there, but as I understand, as he's going to say in this video, he helped Ben Shapiro and Jeremy start the company at Daily Wire. So I would think that you'd know how to communicate and articulate yourself well.
Hi everybody, Purim is a day of celebration. We feel bad for Candace Owens that she lost her job. So I figure with her image of what Jews are supposed to look like, why not at least validate her? I am dressed up as a Candace Owens Jew. Now this is not a Christian child, this is a Jewish child. But if it would be, I got my Christian blood. Spicy, delicious. I got my Jewish nose. I have filth, because Jews are all filth. And more than anything else, what does 80 have? Money! Yeah, we Jews are all about money!
All about the Benjamins.
Wait, one second, wait. All about the Benjamins. Wait, I'm getting a little bit thirsty. Where's the matzah? I don't want to finish the whole thing and not mix it into the matzah. So can someone just bring me... She did say, one second, she did say that I was getting, she liked that tweet that I'm getting drunk on Christian blood. So let's do it the right.
L'chaim.
Oh, so good. So good. V'nafuchu, Purim is the day that our enemies fall, my brothers and sisters.
Psychologist, so yeah, I probably struggle with psychology.
But even after this message, bro, in my opinion, it seems to validate the very point that Candace Owens has been making, that I've been making, that many people have been making. From what I see in the comment section, most people have been making, which is you can especially as a conservative, you can definitely can criticize black people. You can criticize the LGBTQ community. You can criticize illegal immigrants, as they like to call them. You can criticize women. You can criticize anyone. But the moment you start criticizing Jewish people, the moment you start criticizing or even being any sort of critical of Israel or anything that Israel does, then they're not even hiding it anymore. You are shut down. You are labeled, you are shamed, and you are shut down. In this particular case, Candace Owens lost her job, one way or the other, whether she quit, was fired, whatever. And if it couldn't get any worse, here's Jeremy Bowen, COO over there at the Daily Wire. Here's a tweet that he put out. How is saying Christ is King anti-Semitic? The same way anything becomes anti-Semitic, when it is used for the purpose of expressing anti-Semitism. Well, isn't that a circular reasoning? It's like asking, how does a shovel become a murder weapon when it is used to murder someone? This isn't hard. A shovel is not innately a murder weapon. Saying Christ is King is not innately anti-Semitic. It's all about how a thing is used. Saying eat some cornbread is not racist if I say it to my 3-year-old when she is refusing her dinner. If I start saying it as a response to X posts by black commentators I don't like, it has taken on a meaning beyond what is innate. In other words, it is connotatively racist, not denotatively racist. So too, Christ is King may be anti-Semitic in connotation while not in denotation when it is being used to express anti-Semitism. When did this become so? It has always been so. Is it so? Yes, innately. Additionally, saying Christ is King for an evil purpose, like using it as a weapon to express your hatred or disdain for the Jews, is a grave sin. It plainly violates the third commandment, thou shalt not carry forth the name of the Lord thy God in vain. Surely if I murder someone like Hamas did on 10/7, and all the while shout at them Christ is King or God is great, we would agree that I have committed 3 grievous crimes, not 2. Yes, murder, yes, but also the great crime of implicating God in the first 2 crimes. So one must be cautious how one uses the name of God. God will not be mocked. Invoking him in vain, self-promotion, or to troll Jews, or to attack your political rivals is to carry forth his name in vain. Jesus Christ is King, sure enough, King of heaven and of earth, King of Jew and Gentile alike, yet a bruised reed he will not break, and a faintly burning wick he will not smother. So don't use his name as a cudgel to bash those in whom the light of God yet flickers. If you do, you are a blasphemer and an anti-Semite and a piece of crap generally, and the fear of the Lord is clearly not in you. It will be, though. I like how blasphemy is a word that's in the Bible. Somebody go and find the word anti-Semitism in the Bible. Somebody. Anybody. Now let's go over here to what Candace Owens said. The reason why some people believe that with enough insistence, they can convince American Christians that the basic truth, Christ is King, is actually anti-Semitic, is because they have been successfully spiking the ball on Christianity for the past 60 years. Inch by inch, by pretending to be our friends and making us fearful of having the media project us as overzealous, is how they have scored so many wins. It's how mocking Christ has become commonplace in Hollywood. The reality is that they accuse us of what they are guilty of. They hold contempt for Christianity. The reality is that Christ consciousness is rising throughout the world, and any person who is attempting to use methods of psychology to make people pause before they profess their faith is not on the side of goodness. This is a cute attempt to rewrite history after you tried to cancel the phrase, but let's recap what happened here, for the record, before you move on to try to gaslight Christians. Absolutely no one shouted Christ is King at a Jew. Rather, what happened was that a group of nasty people tried to spearhead a PR campaign behind the scenes to smear me as anti-Semitic when it was announced that I parted ways with the Daily Wire. As proof of this, it was offered up that I tweeted Christ is King last November with the ADL and Andrew Klavan sloppily attempting to correlate that phrase to Nick Fuentes. The entire world stood up against this smear for 2 reasons. One, because no one is buying the ridiculous storyline that I suddenly became an anti-Semite, no matter how powerful the network of smear merchants are working to try to make that thing. And 2, because Christ is King. In conclusion, this campaign failed disastrously. And I am proud that Christians made it clear that we can and will unite to defend our faith. 2 things I want to cover. I want us to react to this video together, and I want you all to tell me if this is not the most ridiculous and confusing video you've ever seen in your life. 2, we're going to specifically react to Andrew Klavan's video from the Daily Wire talking about why Candace Owens was fired or let go or why they part ways or ended their relationship. We're going to react to that while also paying attention to this guy by the name of Officer Tatum. He is a political commentator. If you don't know who he is, he's massively popular. But if you don't know who he is, just think of him as the male version of Candace Owens. He's a black conservative. Massive following. He, by his own admittance, says that Candace Owens is his friend and she's like a sister to him. I want you to listen, and even though he's taking up for Candace Owens in this video for the most part, I want you to pay attention to the things that he's saying and the things he's not saying in this video on behalf of Candace Owens. And Candace Owens, if you ever see this video, I just want to put this out there. I understand you may never see it. My channel is extremely small. Listen, look, I get it. You may never see this video in a million years. But if you do happen to ever fall or stumble upon this video, if this video goes viral by chance, please understand me when I say this. This dude, Officer Tatum, in my opinion, he's not your friend, especially when you start off a video like this.
Now, all of y'all know that Candace Owens is like my sister. So, of course, I text her. I'm going to let Candace Owens tell y'all what happened. That it ain't my place to try to deduce what happened.
This is a person who is coming out as a gossipy 15-year-old and who's just trying to financially capitalize off what's happening in your real life. He's just gossiping about it. So let's react to him reacting to what Andrew Clavin had to say about Candace Owens.
I get it. If people disagree with the way Candace, her stance on Israel and stuff like that, I get it. But to say that she's anti-Semitic is insane to me.
Just real quick, because this is going to be important later. Now listen to what he just said. He said, before we even hear what Andrew has to say, if anyone disagrees what Candace's stance is on Israel, I get it. What do you mean you get it? Somebody, anybody, hop in the comment section and tell me one thing that Candace Owens has said that doesn't make any sense. Everything this woman has said has made sense. She's been neutral. She says unaliving children on either side is wrong. She's anti-war. She says that we should be America first and we should not be sending money to any other country when we have problems here in our own country, right? When we're already in debt in our own country. We should not be involving ourselves in other situations when we haven't even got our own home in order. Tell me what's wrong about that. What do you mean you get it? What are you talking about here? Unaliving children on either side is wrong. Somebody hop in the comment section and tell me what I'm missing. He already sounding like he's picking a side, but he doesn't want to say it.
To me, that's just my opinion. I think it's insane. You could come out and say, I disagree the way she characterized this. I don't think she's right about this. I think she's misled about this. Let's do a debate. Let's debate the truth. People like Ben Shapiro and others who are so turned off by what she said, how about they just have a conversation, because then it will be fruitful for everybody. They're not saying that this hasn't been an attempt that's been rejected. I don't know. But it'll be fruitful for everybody, because there's a lot of people that I see in the comment section that agree with Candace. Then there's people that agree with Daily Wire. Why wouldn't they have a fruitful debate, not bringing a rabbi on and all that stuff, because this is biased?
Agreed that it's biased, but what are you talking about when you go to the comment section? A lot of people agree with Candace. Some people agree with that. I challenge any of you. Go to the comment section. I'm willing to bet you 99.9% of all the comments agrees with Candace Owens, because everybody sees the hypocrisy here. What are we talking about?
Listen to this, and you tell me in the comment section, regardless of where you stand on the issue or who you think is right or wrong, does this make any sense whatsoever? Roll the clip.
Jeremy Boyne has to sign that check. He's doing something that he cannot abide. He cannot abide it. It's not because Ben is his friend. I know Ben is a friend, and he loves Ben, and we all love Ben, and I understand that. But that's not why he can't abide it. People say things, including me, people say things on this outlet all the time that Ben doesn't like and that Ben disagrees with. But Jeremy signs their checks and doesn't stop them. This is too far, not because of Ben, but because of what it really means. It's really this hatred of Jews, this level of hatred of Jews is a hatred of God, a hatred of Christ. It's a hatred of Jesus Christ. I know they say, oh no, it's because the Jews, Nick Fuentes, he says the Jews' religion is based on rejecting Christ. That's crap. The Jews were around for a long time before they were prepared.
What hatred of Jews? What hatred? Listen, I'm at a loss for words. They're making up stuff. They're literally just making up stuff. I used to assume when people are CEOs and COOs and innovators and they make a lot of money and they're on news, they're on these panels, that they're automatically smart and they're highly intellectual and innovative, and lies. This is proof that this is lies. These people are professional victims. Not only that, but this is why I mentioned intellect. Because this person who's supposed to be one of the top people at the Daily Wire is you're either being disingenuous or I think you're just being disingenuous. This woman, I don't know how many more times Candace Owens has to come out and clarify what her stance is. She is not anti-Jew. She is not anti-Israel. Yet these people still come on camera and says that she's anti-Jew and that she's anti-Israel. All this time that you all have allowed Candace Owens on your platform to criticize black people, why did you not get upset about that? Because black people are not associated with God? Because black people are not human beings? What are we talking about? She talks about the LGBTQ. She talks about illegal immigrants. She goes at women. Why are you not upset? Aren't you married to a woman? Why are you not upset? Why did you not let her go at that point? What am I missing here, bro?
To bring Christ into the world. That is.
So I'm gonna play the rest of the clip, but at this point, he said Candace Owens' stance is a hatred for Christ. This is what. Hey, y'all tell me if I'm hearing something different. And no disrespect to my man here. What are you even saying?
Why are you saying no disrespect to my man here? Listen, I have to call this out just real fast, and we'll continue. Many of you may not watch this guy, but again, just imagine that he's the male version of a Candace Owens, which means he goes after black people quite often. He's going after, feminists, all these sorts of things. Basic conservative talking points. He never once, when going after the black community, say, listen, black people, I mean no harm. I really mean no harm. I just want to help you. He never says that. If you make it very difficult, Officer Tatum, Brandon Tatum, you make it very difficult for those on the opposing side. You make it very difficult to fight against their argument, which is black conservatives are who they are because they're trying to appease the white people. Why did you feel the need to say no disrespect to him? Why? You don't say that to black people when you go after black people. Why is that important for you to say here? I just needed to point that out because that was so blatant to me.
How is it disrespect? How is it hatred of Jesus Christ if Candace is, according to some of them, if she's off on her thoughts on Israel, she's taking the wrong stance? What does that have to do with hating Jesus Christ? That sounds like a crazy stretch to me.
Not what defines the Jewish religion. When I, who have given my life to Christ, who have bowed to Christ as I have bowed to nothing else on this planet, who bends the knee before Christ the King, and I come on this outlet, which I was at from the very beginning, which I helped to build, this outlet that I love. I admit it, I love this place. And I know that such things are being said under the aegis of the Daily Wire. It has to end. It has to stop. If Candace wants to say those things about the Jews, about Hitler, no matter how she dodges and weaves, she has to leave the Daily Wire.
What did she say about Hitler? She said if Hitler, my mind is blown. She said someone asked her, she's covered this so many times on her channel. She's covered this at public events and it's been filmed. She's cleared this up over and over. These people are exposing themselves and they still are calling her out for it. Are you mentally deteriorating? A person asked this woman about nationalism. Is it all right to be a nationalist, which means you are for your country first? She says she don't see anything wrong with being a nationalist. She believes part of the reason why the word or the term nationalism has such a bad connotation is because of Hitler and what Hitler did. She says she believes that if Hitler only wanted great things for Germany, she don't think that there was anything wrong with that. Not what he did to the Jews. If he was only trying to make Germany a better place. His problem, one of his problems, was that he was trying to spread and trying to change the world into this one world place. That's what she said. What are you talking about, bro? What she said about the Jews. What did she said about the Jews? What about what she said about other groups of people? You people are hypocrites.
We cannot let him be defamed, even if they call him the Jews. We cannot let Christ be defamed at this place because Christ is king.
That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. And of course, most people who's going to watch this video knows that it makes no sense. But this is another point I want to make. Candace Owens, if you're watching, I want you to just peep who's for you and who's not for you. This guy by the name of Officer Tatum, who calls himself your friend, who says that you're like his sister. If you notice that he's made 2 or 3 videos on his channel now about you and what you're going through and what you're experiencing with the Daily Wire, notice he hasn't criticized the Daily Wire one time. He hasn't criticized Ben Shapiro one time. And most importantly, he hasn't taken a stance on if he agrees or disagrees with you. Why is that? Because the very point that you made.
I'm going to be honest with you because everybody's noticing it. Every single political commentator in America, every single one of them knows this, that if you do not step out and say things that are radically pro-Israel, or if you are too quiet on certain narratives and they want you to be radically pro-Israel, you can lose everything. That's truth. That is a fact. I'm not feeling like I need to hide from that anymore or be afraid to say it, rather, is a better way to say it, because I've endured this for years.
Bingo. If you say anything, like she said, most political commentators, Officer Tatum is one of them. If you say anything that's not too pro-Israel, they'll shame you. If you say something that seems critical of Israel, or a little bit, even just a little bit anti-Israel, they're going to shame you and come after you. He knows that. So he's tiptoeing a line and playing it safe. This person is not your brother. He's not like a brother. He's not your friend, Candace Owens. He don't have the balls to come out and say this, but when it comes to black people, he'll come after black people nonstop. He's a coward. He's a coward. If it's a group of black people, it's a gang. If it's a group of Italians, it's a mob. If it's a group of Jews, it's a coincidence and you should never speak about it.
Oh, yeah, Diddy got a podcast.